Bobby, do you think, and I'll never forget, a couple weeks ago, you told us that a pissed off Dak is probably the kind of Dak that we want around here. He's going to play better when he's pissed off. You think that bet with DeMarcus Lawrence is going to light a little fire under his tush?
I mean, they lost Sunday, so I don't know. It didn't look like it there. I mean, look, I think this is just a case where they've got to get things right on the offensive line. They've got to get the continuity there. They've got to figure out a way to beat these looks that the defenses are throwing at them. They got to get Zeke healthy. And I mean, they're kind of in this, I know this has been a narrative that's been around social media. They're kind of in the same spot the Chiefs were a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they had to learn to start beating these two deep shells and how to attack that. And I think they're just still kind of feeling their way through, all right, how do we do this? Now, it doesn't help when CeeDee Lamb's dropping passes and when they're throwing these little bubble screens and people are, dropping passes or Dak's feeling hurried and he, makes a bad decision early. So, I mean, I think that there's just a few things that need to get ironed out as soon as they do. It's a series of just little things that are culminating in what is a honestly below average offense at this point.
Now, the defense is certainly not below average. We were just talking about
strong D.
Very, very strong D. Is it the kind of defense you feel like in the playoffs is the type that could sort of carry you a little bit if the offense doesn't get back to full form? Yeah,
it's sustainable because they're so strong with their pass rush. And I mean, we've seen now 2 games with this, pass rush group that we were all excited to see play together. And in that time, I know it's against, the Washington football team and the Giants, but still 2 road games, you've given up 19 points combined to them. I mean, you gave up 20 to Washington, but that was a pick 6 on Dak too.
Right. The defense only gave up.
Yeah, the defense has only given up 19 points in these 2 games. And so that's the thing, is that you're going to see, a lot of pressure, and that's going to lead to big sacks and, getting them out of, getting the opponent out of good field position on, third downs, potentially knocking them out of field goal range and impacting the game that way. And then when you're not getting sacks, you're pressuring them and forcing them into errant throws. That's how 2 of the interceptions happened on Sunday, was pressure coming and the quarterback being hurried and making poor decisions. So I think that a lot of what they're doing right now is sustainable because of what they're able to accomplish with this pass rush. And I think that the encouraging thing you're seeing right now is with them getting healthier with those interior defensive linemen like Tristan Hill and Neville Gallimore and things like that, then you're seeing some stability in the run game too.
I was going to say, do you trust the run defense? Because that's my thing, like a team that's really committed to running the ball that can do it well. If the offense isn't playing that great, the Cowboys offense, where they're not up by 10 early in the game where the team kind of has to throw the ball, if it's the game's in the balance and a team can run the ball on you, that's like the one type of offense I wonder, can they kind of punish the Cowboys defense?
So you don't want to see San Francisco then?
Yeah,
that's who you don't
really
want to see.
That's the and I was going to ask you the same thing. Walchuk and I think in round 1 of the teams most likely for us to face, I think San Francisco's the team I don't really want to see, but maybe you have a different thought.
No, I mean, I would not want to see, I don't think, whoever is the number 1 wild card in the West. I wouldn't want to see if that's Cardinals or Rams, just because I think they're more talented teams than San Francisco. But I don't think San Francisco's too far behind that, and I think that San Francisco stylistically presents some problems for them
on both sides of the ball, right?
Yeah, because the pass rush is. Arden Key's come on in recent weeks. They've got Eric Armstead. They've got Nick Bosa. I'd have to look up the stats. I don't remember what it is, but like quietly, I don't know if anybody knows. It's like Josh Norman has like 8 forced fumbles this year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
He doesn't tackle anybody; he just punches balls.
No, it's the peanut punch. They're generating turnovers. They're running the football well. Kyle Shanahan is a good play designer. He has the ability to come up with a game plan that can neutralize some of what Dan Quinn wants to do. I think I'd pick Dallas no matter who they play in the first round. I think Dallas would be more likely to win than not. But if you're asking me who's giving you the toughest game, San Francisco would be right up there.
What about this red zone being good at home and not good on the road? They've been dead last in the league offensively in the red zone since that Chiefs game. Do you buy the home road thing, or is that more coincidental, or is that because early in the year they had more home games when they were rocking and rolling, and lately they've been on the road and they've sucked for the last 6 weeks.
No, because I mean, like, some of that is like they were 100% in the red zone against Denver. Like, I mean, and so I mean, I don't know how I'm that. Well, that's two right there that don't necessarily need to go in there. And then you think of some other times where they've just, the Giants game where they had some issues with turnovers. I think they had a turnover in the red zone there against the Giants at home when Dak had fumbled. I think he had the interception earlier to Lorenzo Carter, and then he fumbled. So I don't know that it's a home road thing. I think they've benefited from, some luck in some instances to skew those numbers a little bit. But I think overall, when you look at the way they played, I don't see much of a difference in the red zone when they're at home or on the road. And I mean, this year more than any other in recent history, I feel like they've run into weak road environments where Cowboys fans are traveling really well. It feels like just about every place they've played on the road this year has had a big Cowboys presence. And so I don't even know that there's a crowd noise effect or anything that they're having to deal with. So I think the red zone struggles are what they are, and they've been that way for 5-6 years now.
Bobby Belt with us here on 105.3 The Fan. When it comes to Kellen Moore, there was so much hype and excitement, after the first, 6-7 games of the year. And this offense was humming along, and, it's take what the defense gives you and pick your poison. And how do you stop the Cowboys right now? And they're the best offense in football. And everyone is viewing him as the next hot candidate, right? He's going to be able to get whatever job he wants. Did you hear anything, or maybe that was something that trickled into those walls? Maybe he started to hear that as well. Maybe that is a reason as to some pressure started to be put on himself, and maybe that has caused a little bit of a rut here midseason.
I don't know that that's the case. I mean, it's funny we talk about how he was the hot candidate, first 5-6 weeks of the season, and then it's cooled a little bit. Because I start thinking about, I don't know if people remember it in this context, but that's what happened the first year he was calling plays too. Was they started off really hot, and then they went into New Orleans, and the offense just looked bleak, and people started going, well, Jason Garrett must be controlling the game plan again. Like, it just looks so different. And we're running into this now again. I think it's a little different given last year. We don't have a good reference for that because Dak got hurt, and so much of the offense changed. But it does make me wonder if, and this is just me thinking out loud, and something that I should probably research, do something for the website on, is it makes me wonder if when film gets out on some of his game plans and stuff like that, if he has trouble adjusting mid-season. Because, like I said, 2019 started off hot. Things kind of cooled a little bit as the year went on, and people were wondering, like, where's this? Where's that? That's not, he's having trouble adjusting now, and we're running into the same thing now. So I think that this is, it's a feeling out process. They're trying to get things figured out. I don't think he was, hearing the hype. I don't think that's a factor here. I think it's just he's running into a little bit of a point now where he's struggling to respond to the way defenses are playing them, and it's made more difficult by some of the inconsistencies on the offensive line. And it doesn't help when CeeDee Lamb's dropping passes over the middle. It doesn't help when they can't really, they're at some of these games like the Giants where they can't push the ball down the field really. The one time they try, it gets caught up in the wind and knocked down. And so I think that it's just a matter of, it's a growing process still for him, is what it's about.
What about, what do you think is more fixable, or what do you think gets fixed first offensively? Being able to run the ball again, especially against these light boxes that they've been seeing lately, or getting the passing game to a point where they can create big plays, because they've had no explosive passing plays for kind of a while.
I mean, I think now that we're seeing Zeke is looking healthier, I still don't think he looks healthy. I don't think he's 100%, but he's looking more healthy, and Tony Pollard looked to have some of that burst back, and they're going to get, they've kind of settled on getting Lyle Collins out there at right tackle. They're putting Connor Williams back in. They have run the ball better when Connor Williams has been in there. I think that I would bank on the running game starting to pick things up. And if they do, at that point, it may become a little moot if the passing game is able to respond to some of this stuff, because they're going to have to, start, taking into account the running game again. These defenses are, because right now they just go, we can catch up to Zeke on one knee, run into the outside. That we only have to commit 6 defenders to the box to do that. That's fine, or 5 defenders to the box. And so I think that as soon as that running game gets going, which I think it's starting to, that'll kind of render moot if the Cowboys can respond to some of these looks. But I mean, if the running game doesn't come around, I still think they'll get it together. I still think they'll figure this out, just like the way Kansas City did. They're too talented, I think, not to.
Did Connor McGovern really hurt his future with the team, with the way that he played his last 4 weeks? I know he's under contract next year, and I kind of got the vibe that when they made that move, it was kind of a long-term move. Like, he's under contract. Hopefully he plays well. That's our starting left guard for next year as well. And then he didn't. So I kind of wonder what's the thought process even moving into next year with Connor Williams being a free agent. Big picture-wise, what would be the plan moving forward with Connor McGovern?
I think Connor McGovern is a victim of not my guy. That coaching staff changes over, and it's, coaches have their own people, just like, when they come in here, there's somebody to vouch for Terrence Steele and to believe in Terrence Steele. I don't know that this coaching staff viewed Connor McGovern as fitting what they want. And so I think that's why he was relegated for a while. They found a creative way to get him in there, and it was working, and it was effective. And I think once Connor Williams struggled, it was like, you know what, he's earned a chance at least. But I think you saw playing out the whole not my guy thing again when Connor Williams gets back out there. And I don't think Connor McGovern was brutal. I think he was fine. He wasn't great though. And they were more effective with Connor Williams in there. I was talking to G-Bag earlier today, and it does make me wonder if with Connor Williams's brand or whatever a little bit bruised from the penalties and getting benched and coming back on, it does make me wonder, is he going to be more of a value at this point? And do you look at it and go, well, maybe we can fit him into our plans. Maybe we can fit him into the cap and make this happen. And so maybe he's somebody that, while we've all assumed he's gone, maybe that's somebody that they actually are able to look at and say, we can make this work.
So this was actually a fun exercise that G-Bag did earlier when they were doing Cowboys Twitter. They were looking at some of the defensive free agents that are impending for the Cowboys, and which you can only keep 3. I mean, I wonder out of some of these names, which ones you think they might prioritize, or who would be more likely. I think it came down to obviously Randy Gregory, who you have a great relationship with, Carlos Watkins, both safeties, KZ, Hooker, and then Curse.
Yeah, I think if I'm prioritizing, I think they are going to prioritize Randy more than anybody else. And then after that, not too far behind, I actually don't think, would be Curse. I think they really like what they have in Curse, and I think they feel like he's got unique skill set and unique measurables to fit kind of what Dan Quinn wants to do that's not necessarily easy to find in the draft or in free agency. And so I don't know that they'd want to let him get away. And then after that, for this particular exercise, you've got a few names you can look at, but I think I'd settle with Carlos Watkins. I think Carlos Watkins has been really solid for them. And I think that, I think I'd take him over KZ, who I think has been good in spots, but has given up some chunk plays. And I think that, Van Der Esch is probably gone. Keanu Neal's probably gone. So that's probably where I'd prioritize it, would be Randy, Curse, and then bringing back Watkins.
Bobby,
I like it.
You're an absolute stud, brother. Enjoyed having you in studio. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go curl up in the corner. I'm sleeping here now.
Okay, perfect.
This is my home.
Welcome home.
I didn't have a house before this.
Don't put your head on that side. On the right side of the house.
Why the right side?
I have a spare bed.
Bad things have happened on that right side, Bobby.
Oh yeah, that counts.
We talking Blue Chew things or more like the 9 o'clock segment things?
Like both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. FCC violations.
Real quick, any chance they move on from Greg the Leg? Is there any chatter about that? We asked Stephen Jones. He said no. But that was a couple weeks ago.
No, not until probably not till next year. I don't think he's getting a job. I don't think he's keeping a job, but he'll keep it through the end of the year.
Right. Okay.
So, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Bobby, you are a stud, brother, and welcome to the family.
Thank you.
You're already a member of our family.
I know. You guys had me first. You were my first.
Yes, we were your first. Even when you were homeless and needed a place to
crash.
crash.
And now that I'm getting passed around and things are a little different, just know I'll always remember you as my first.
Well, we remember you, and gosh, we love having you.
Very thankful.
Indeed.